Well, that cut off abruptly. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be hailing from. This is the IT Guy Show, a special edition live operations. You've heard of live coding? Well, this is live ops. Although we're kind of doing coding this time because, excuse me, when I was out of town a week or so ago for Open Source Summit Minneapolis 2026, I ran into these folks, coders. They are searching to fix the works on my machine problem by basically building out Terraform files and other tools into their coder platform that allows you to just spin up a server on your local system. Which, if you travel or if you have a really powerful laptop, um, and you don't want to be tied down to a desk or an SSH session, it just really helps because you can define your environment and you can kind of figure out what you want that environment to look like, and it's reproducible. So this is an interesting take on a problem that I've dealt with for decades as a systems administrator, which is always, well, dev doesn't match test, doesn't match stage, and definitely doesn't match production, which doesn't match DR. And I'm of the opinion, all right, hot take here. I'm of the opinion that we need to do away with at least dev and test and QA, whatever you call your lower level environments. Maybe have production and staging, pre-production, but the other environments should go away. Why? Because we have all these tools. We have pipelines, we have CI/CD tools, and we have tools like this coders tool that I think could make really interesting. Now, you're gonna say that, Eric, you're a sysadmin, not a developer, and you couldn't be more right. But the folks at Coders really made a strong case for how cool this is and how it really fixes a problem in the industry. So, with that said, I'm going to try basically sight unseen. I skimmed the getting started guide before I hit record. So we're just going to try it. We're going to try their quick start guide. Hey, I'm a developer advocate. I'm a technologist. I love to tinker with things. So what better place to tinker than somewhere where I can make a fool of myself, right? All right. So let's give this a try here. Let me share my screen here. We're going to make that the bigger screen. There we go. One of these days, I will have a producer to do all this for me. So, like I said, I'm not sure what I clicked on, but that's not what I wanted. Let me grab their website here. There it is. I have windows upon windows upon windows. It's okay. There we go. Right? You guys are seeing this? Okay, so you can start a free trial. You can install Coder. It's in dark mode by default, which makes me happy. Of course, they've got a couple of use cases here mentioned. I mean, Discord, where I've got an IT Guy Show community. It's great. You can deploy their tool, you can create templates, and get to work, which as a systems administrator really makes me feel happy because when my developers are working, it means that I can work on other things. But they've got such a wide variety of tools and languages that they support. I mean, it's a really cool thing. I ended up over at their booth like 2 or 3 times. So you know what? We're gonna give this a try. So first we're going to install the Coder server, we're gonna create a template, we're gonna launch a workspace, and then we'll see if we can't get VS Code working. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm doing this from a Mac. I'm sorry, but my MacBook Air M4 is a fantastic machine. But I really, really miss running Fedora, running Linux. So at some point, I will probably be back on a Linux machine. But for today, it is what it is, right? All right. So let's get started here. So install your code server. Um, it's nice that they define their terms because every term in technology is now overused. So we're doing just fine on this as long as Google Chrome gives up some of its chokehold on my RAM. Interesting. So they even give you recommendations for if you're using Claude to help deploy this. Now, I do believe that I already have Docker Desktop installed. Like I said, I just skimmed the notes ahead of time, so we're learning this together. So let me change screens here. Let's go to. Well, that's why I don't want to share another Chrome tab. I want to share brew install Docker Desktop. It should come back and say that we've already got it. I guess I could have just tried to launch the app. Oh, what do you know? I don't have Docker Desktop installed, but we will now. All right, so we're installing Docker Desktop, which kind of begs the question: as an open source Linux guy, it kind of makes me wonder: can this work with, say, Podman Desktop too? I did say enterprise Linux guy, didn't I? Oop, didn't mean to close that out. Okay, so that's still installing. If you're watching live, really appreciate you tuning in. I'm just kind of goofing off here on a Thursday afternoon. But should be fun. Should be fun. That's the downside to an ultra wide monitor is I can't have all my communications over on the side here. Okay, so we now have Docker Desktop installed. So now, excuse me. I don't remember the last time I used Docker Desktop here. So it's asking me to configure permissions. I'll share this here in a moment. Okay, so we've got that going now. Docker can now be run in the background. Thank you so much for telling me. All right. I'm using it for personal here. Now I got to log into everything. This is why open source tools are so much better, because they don't nag you or bug you. And I don't know if maybe I got rid of my Docker account. Interesting. This is the fun of doing things live, because now I'm having to do a password reset on my account in the middle of a live stream. Or you know what? Will that tell me that that I really suck and I need to rethink my life? Okay. Well, how about them apples? Don't need to reset my password. After all, we're just gonna roll with the default here. Okay. So I'm using only 0.64 gigs of RAM, so that's nice. All right. I'm gonna slide this over here. I will sign in later. All right, cool. We now have Docker Desktop installed. Open Docker Desktop. Oh, and hey, coders, if you're watching this, 1 and 1. All right, so now we need to install Coder. So that means that I need to come over here and go back to my terminal. And I'll just leave the instructions there for now. We'll just clear that out and always just, curl random things off the internet, because why not, right? All right, so it looks like it's using brew to do the install. That's cool. If you're a Mac user and you miss DNF or apt, I do have to recommend Homebrew for macOS. It really makes it nice. Okay, so Coder has been installed under opt to run the Coder server to connect to a deployment. Okay, so let's go back to my instructions here. Okay, so do the install and then just coder server. And looks like it's going to try and open a browser tab. So let's just do coder server. Never used this tool, only seen it once or twice demonstrated at Open Source Summit a couple of weeks ago. So this is fun for the whole family, right? Right. I mean, it looks like it's up and running. So let me. Oh, there we go. So in the background, it just opened up a new tab here. So I'm going to clean up some of this stuff down here. So we're starting to run out of screen real estate here, aren't we? I think I'm done with the terminal for now, so we'll come back to that if we need it. Meantime, I'm going to pull this out here, and let's share that Chrome window. We're going to set up my account. You know what? We'll just use my GitHub, because at some point we'll probably want to create a repository. Okay, so copy the user code, open and paste it. Yes, that is me. And there's the code that you told me to copy and paste. And you know what? Sure, I may have just signed over my soul, but we'll give it a shot. Ta-da! All right, Coder version 2.33.6 is now available. Cool. All right, so we're looking at workspaces here. If it's on a network or a cloud device, that's something I didn't think about, was just running this in my server lab. Then I can connect to it from anywhere via Tailscale. Okay. So I'm just kind of skimming the instructions here. Once again, this is brand new. I'm excited here. So we went with the GitHub option, so we can skip on down to creating our first template. If you use an AI coding assistant, these tips are nice. This is helpful. We're not right now, but we will at some point, I'm sure. Okay, so templates, new template, select coder quick start. Let's see. Okay, so it said go to templates, new template. Got a number of options here. That's nice. Ooh, DigitalOcean, Docker and Docker. Wonder if I could run Kubernetes this way. Hey, what do you know? Kubernetes deployments. That's awesome. Dev container, Scratch. Okay, so I got excited there and got ahead of myself. It said, look for coder quick start. Choose a starter template. That's where we are. Uh-oh. Did I not go to the right place? Templates, new template. Uh-oh. Did they get rid of their quick start? Wonder if it's other templates on the coder registry. Start? I mean, I guess we could do the this template requires Docker to be running in the background. So I don't see I don't see the coder quick start that they're talking about, but the screenshot here. Oh, you guys haven't been looking at that, have you? So I've been trying to find their coder quick start, like it said in the instructions, but I'm not seeing it. But the screenshot here mentions Docker container, so we're just going to use that, and we're going to name it quick start, like the instructions say. Display name, we'll just give it the same display name, and okay, icon docker.png. Could make it an emoji, but let's roll with that. All right. No, hold on a second here. What's going on with Okay. So we got that going here. And I just double checked, and Docker desktop says that the engine is running. So we could be in good shape here. So if you notice, it's using Terraform. Pretty standard as far as provisioning workloads is concerned, and it pairs nicely with Ansible, which is my infrastructure automation of choice. Okay, so after the template is ready, select Create Workspace. So it's just all that's, and there's even comments in there. That's pretty nice, and there's a README. So I'm going to hit the plus, create workspace, and let's see, give the workspace a name. How about Hello World? And yeah, I'm the only user there, so. And I don't use JetBrains, but is VS Code? Oh, that's just JetBrains IDs. Okay. IntelliJ, PyCharm. It's okay. Cool. Let's actually didn't ask me for a repository on the screen like the instructions suggest, but we're going to kick it off anyway. Because what could go wrong? Hey, VS Code. That's what I wanted. So it's spinning up. We can connect via SSH. We can see what open ports there are. Nice. Cool. So if I wanted to open a terminal, you know what? I want to hide the instructions for now. If y'all want the instructions, you can go out to coder.com/docs/tutorial/quickstart. And instead, I want to show you, excuse me. So I can open a okay, cool. So we must be inside the container here. Let's see. So launch your workspace. We just did. It's up and running. Connect to your IDE. So let's go ahead and connect to. Let's go ahead and open VS Code. This would have been easier to share my desktop, but then again, ultra wide monitor on a YouTube channel, it's not always the best. You know what? I met the coder guys. They seem pretty nice. Let's go ahead and trust them and install their extension. I don't know about you all, but I have this fantasy of running multiple Linux systems, piles of containers, and Kubernetes clusters all through VS Code, and never touching the terminal. Let's now restart VS Code here. So I just noticed that my terminal here, as we've been working, has just been going crazy. Okay, so anyway, leave it to the IT guy to go off on some weird tangent. Okay, let's go back to VS Code here. So each of the buttons in the workspace view is a different agent app. More on this in a later section. Select your preferred IDE. We just did. Assumes you're using VS Code. Select open folder to explore directories in the Docker container or work on something new. Okay, so why don't we clone a Git repository, shall we? They actually suggest their Git repo. So let's clone, let's paste in there we go. Allow GitHub. And of course, off screen, it's asking me to authenticate to GitHub again. Choose the folder to which VS Code should clone the repo. It will be in its own directory within this folder. So I've actually got, oops, that's not what we want. Oh, you know what? I probably gotta, there we go. Let's go ahead and just use their default. So it's cloning in. I know this is a little haphazard, but this is actually fairly intuitive. I like it. After VS Code completes clone, select open on the directory. It's still cloning. Again, if you're watching live, I appreciate it. This is just kind of me goofing off and showing what an ignoramus I can be. Yeah, we want to trust that folder. Yeah, I trust the authors. Why not? Yeah, let's go ahead and get those installed. As you can tell, I don't often use VS Code. I want to, though. It'd be much easier to, goodness, opened up all the things here. I'm not sure if that was my VS Code or if that was Coders. I don't want to chat. Okay, so what happened to my project here? I'm not sure what happened to my project. Coder DD. I'm not sure what happened to it. I think it got lost when, so let's try that again. Come on. Oh, you know what? It's the whole tree here. Okay, cool. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so we actually just finished the initial. We don't need to see that. What we want is to see the instructions. Okay, so I mean, we've got it running. We've got a workspace. We've got an IDE ready to. So I mean, that's all the stuff there. So it looks like it has some Helm charts that we could use, some test data for our Helm chart. So chart.yaml. So let's do this. because 25 minutes, and I was talking and authenticating and whatnot. So, a lot of bouncing around there. I mean, that's not bad for a tool I've never used. Let's see. Write a template using image management, persistent shared workspaces, Google to AWS. Using Nginx, best practices. Let's see. So that's kind of the thing here is if it were me, I would put in another couple of steps there, a hello world, if you will, just a static HTML page that shows off something nice that says, congratulations, you're now running coders. But you know what? Let's poke around the interface for a minute, shall we? That wasn't the window I wanted to close, but that's okay. I think this is what, yep, there it is. All right, let's poke around the interface for a minute. So, we've got our quick start going. We're set up in VS Code. So we only have the one workspace that we just set up, but we have our quick start template. We have tasks, and it'll tell us what coder tasks are. Okay, cool. So it's nice to be able to pull in your to-do list agents. This is one of the cool things that we were talking about. Excuse me, sorry. Is actually having an AI agent right here. So they had a few set up, but if we go to new agent, so we don't have any models configured. So I wonder if I was running an LLM here, if oh, cool. We can enable sound and notifications. So it's still what if we ask it to do a static hello world web page? Oh, because I don't have any models configured. But I can get introductory access to coder agents, so that's cool. Okay, so maybe coming in to do one of these completely from scratch isn't a great plan, but if I didn't have more to show you. But I mean, it's a beautiful interface. It's nice. It's minimal. It's dark mode. But yeah, I mean, as far as the tool goes, but think about it like this. Think about this, if you will. This was just kind of a half an hour of me goofing around, but think about how this scales. It's using Terraform and Docker, so you could build multiple layers of applications and multiple layers of sorry, of templates and workspaces. You could set up different apps, and that way you could really focus on making sure that the underlying infrastructure is identical no matter where you're at. So the power of this, and I'm just kind of an idiot user, so I'm not. I'll have to do some digging on their site. Maybe have a part two to this. I'm sure they have some additional tutorials and that kind of thing. I barely just scratched the surface. But as you saw, if we go into if we look at their templates that they had available, I mean, you can run tasks, Docker containers, AWS, Azure, GCP, Incus, which is one I hadn't heard of, Kubernetes, Nomad, and even build your own template from scratch. I mean, so the ability to build workspaces off of templates really makes sense. Because what if you're managing multiple websites, your open source project and your corporate site, all that kind of stuff? It really makes sense to have a lot of this. It's a great tool, and the people behind it are awesome. Um, my apologies that I didn't do a little bit more research into their getting started guides. I'm sure there's another one that we could have done. Could have probably built a pretty basic website pretty quickly. Maybe Hugo or something. Actually, that's kind of a cool idea because I'd like to move my website off of WordPress, and it'd be nice to have a development website that I can run locally on my laptop, so that I can build out the new website until I can do a cutover from WordPress to a static HTML site. So maybe I could use coders. Ooh, I could use coders and their AI agent maybe to code a brand new website that's static HTML, so I can get rid of WordPress. So just some cool things to think about. It's like I said, it's a cool tool in the hands of someone who's better trained. If I would have spent a little bit of time this morning, maybe um, looking at their documentation, probably would have been able to put together a better episode. But I mean, hey, 15 minutes or so. If you cut out all the narration, if you cut out all the bouncing around, all the authentication issues that I ran up against, 15 minutes to get started with a tool this powerful. That's pretty great. So anyway, that'll do it for me for today. I've got another meeting coming up here in about half an hour that I should probably get ready for. But just wanted to jump on, goof around, and try out a new tool. So anyway, if you're from Coders and you're watching this, really appreciate it. If you're part of the audience, make sure that you like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment. My goodness, you can tell that spring and summer are battling it out to see who wins. But yeah, make sure to follow the Big Show, the IT Guy Show. You can follow it here on YouTube, or you can follow it from wherever you get your audio podcasts. Is the IT Guy Show, hosted by myself, Eric the IT Guy Hendricks. I just had an episode about home labs just a couple of weeks ago with Josh from Keep It Techie. So definitely check that out. And I've got other tools that I ran into at Open Source Summit and through my network. So I'm going to definitely be doing some more of these over the next week. Just poking around with new tools. And next time I'll come a little bit better prepared. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. Really